Hi, my name is Shantae and welcome to my channel, Harlempurls. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, and it is day 3 of Vlogmas. Wow, 3 videos in a row. Can you believe it? I can't. If you've been keeping up with me, I've been knitting a hat and baking bread. That's about it for now. Those are my 2 obsessions, knitting and baking. It changes, it varies, it can change, who knows. But as for the hat, remember yesterday I showed you the finished hat. I said I was going to put a red pom-pom on it, and guess what? I did. I put a little pom-pom on top. I didn't do a good job cutting it, but who cares? I just wanted to put a pom-pom on it. I didn't want to get too precise. I didn't have the time, because then next thing you know, you keep on cutting and cutting and cutting, and you get like this like little pom-pom left. So we're gonna call it done, and I have already cast it on for the next hat. Where's my yarn? The next hat, here's the brim. It's gonna be a yellow hat. I know this looks really small, but look, it stretches, so I'm hoping that it'll be an adult size hat. And you know what, if it's not, then it'll go to one of my kids. So the brim's going to be yellow, and the pattern is going to be black and white. I'm using this, oh, look, it has a label on it. Impeccable yarn by Michaels, I think. Michaels or Joann's, Loops and Threads. What brand is that? Might be Michaels, might be Joann's, one of them. And this is Heat Wave by Red Heart. I saw this at Michaels. I had a coupon, and I was like, oh, it's supposed to heat up in the sunlight, so I thought that was cool. I said, oh, it's a, yeah, sunlight activated even on cloudy days. So we'll see. So I'm going to use those 2 yarns to knit a hat, and I'm going to pick a pattern out of my stitch pattern book. We'll see which one, and we'll see what happens. So that's it on the knitting front. Oh, someone mentioned and asked me if I knit the sweater that I'm wearing. And actually I did. Thank you for asking. This is my house sweater. When I'm in the house, if I'm not wearing this sweater, it's another sweater that I like to wear. I live in a drafty house, and heat is expensive. So we do not like to turn the thermostat up. Thermostat stays down. If it was up to me, it would be at 68, but I had to compromise with my husband. So thermostat stays at 70 most days, which is a little chilly, not to me, but you know what, I knit. So if you're cold, put a sweater on. If you're cold, put a hat on, put some socks on. That's my philosophy, at least. Anyway, so usually when I get home, I usually get comfy and put on this sweater. This sweater is the Rockling Cardigan. It's by Alexis Winslow, and it's in her book that she published a couple of years ago. I don't remember what year, but it's called Graphic Knits. And I loved the pattern. As soon as I saw it, I bought the book. I bought the digital version, so I don't have a physical copy to show you. I'll try and put in a picture of me wearing the sweater. I wore it to Rhinebeck one year. This was my Rhinebeck sweater. And I love it. It's comfy. It has the big shawl collar. It's long, like it covers everything, and it's just really warm and cozy and comfy. The yarn I got from Annie and Company down in the city when they had a sale, and it's a wool cotton blend. So it's like heavy. It's like heavy, but it's still warm and cozy, and I love it. Maybe another day I'll wear the other sweater that I wear around the house. I forgot the name of the pattern. I'll look it up. I'll explain it in another video. So that's it on the knitting front. As far as the bread baking, I finished my bread this morning. The kind of bread that I bake is sourdough bread. A friend of mine gave me a little bit of her sourdough starter. I've been feeding it and nurturing it, and her name is Alice, and she lives in my fridge right now, and she helps me make bread. The starter I'm talking about. So I used the starter to make bread. So what you saw in my other video at the end, you saw me doing the whole process of taking the starter and mixing it with water, and then I mixed it with flours for this bread that I made. I mixed bread flour with whole wheat flour and spelt flour, and then you mix that up and then you let it sit. It auto-lyses for a little while, and then I added the salt and a little bit more water just to help the salt distribute and get the dough a little right. And then you let that sit, and then you do some stretch and folds, and it gets the, I guess, gluten in the dough to act right so that it can form a mass that will become bread. I don't know all the terms. I'm still learning and experimenting, and it's fun. I like it. It's a long process. It's like a 3-day process because it takes me about a day to get the starter built back up and active the way I want it. Then it takes another day for that whole process you saw me do yesterday with the stretch and folds, and then the next day you bake the bread. So this morning I put the bread in the oven. It baked for about 40 minutes, 20 minutes with the lid on in my cast iron Dutch oven, and then 20 minutes with the lid off, and it came out beautifully. So I will put some pictures or video at the end of this so you'll get to see what that bread looked like, and it came out great. It's a little more tangy than I usually like it. I'll have to go over my notes and see what I did to make it that tangy, but I know what I did. It was my hydration of the starter because I was messing around with hydration levels of my starter. Anyway, bread came out great. The holes inside, perfect. It came out really good. The bread was really good. My family loved it. It's already half gone. I'm already dreaming about what I'm going to change and mess around with on my next loaf, but I just don't have the time. If I wish I had like time all day to just sit and knit and bake bread. Is that a job? Can I have that as a job, please? Just give me a job where I can knit while I'm waiting for the bread to rise, or I can spin some yarn while I'm waiting, for my bread to proof. Like, somebody create that job for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. So now I'm rambling, so I'm going to end it here. And I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.